Okay.
You're so silly.
Makeup, makeup,
You ain't getting no
Makeup.
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 You
How
guys
are
got a
you
full-on
doing?
studio. I'm doing great, thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. We watch you all the time, bro.
And I see we liked that when you went and did the meet and greet. We wanted to go so bad. So
It
I
was
know.
really a good turnout, to be honest. There were so many vloggers, so many people. Everybody's so friendly, no egos. I collaborated with like 4 people there, so I have so much content to put out. It was great. I wish you guys could have been there.
that's good. All right.
I'm
So
gonna eat my sausage.
yeah, sure you are. Okay. So all right. So we'll start this interview now. Of course, you know, this is George and I'm Heidi. We're with Philippine Antics. And today we brought in Alex. And the name of your channel?
Living abroad.
Living Abroad. He has a YouTube channel
Great channel.
and he goes all over the Philippines, does interviews with people, goes out with the people. I like how you interact with the people. You playing basketball was really awesome. So with
Thank
George
you.
being all Filipino, he sees you when you interact and he says you're the real deal. So there's only so many of the channels that we feel that are.
Oh, thank
So
you so much. That means a lot to me.
go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, of course. So my name's Alex. I am from Canada, originally from the Middle East, but I migrated to Canada as a child. So that's where I'm from now. And I've been traveling full time for the past almost 3 years now. So I've been to several different countries
Wow.
full time in Turkey, Georgia, Armenia, Thailand, and now the Philippines. And I started my YouTube channel because I'm not a guy to take photos. I don't like taking pictures of myself, but I really wanted to document my travels and my journey. And I figured it'll be a great way to look back in my life. And I've been in the Philippines for the past 5 years, not 5 years, 5 months now. And I'm loving it here. People are so kind. The weather's nice, the beaches, all the good stuff that we love about the Philippines.
Gotcha on that. And then you already mentioned which was my next question. Currently, what city are you residing in?
Yeah, right now I'm here in Cebu City, next to IT Park, and I'm living
Okay.
here in a condo that's pretty much has everything that I need. It's just a studio, but I'm a single guy. It has everything I need, like a TV, a bed, air conditioner, a swimming pool, a gym. I couldn't ask for more. And there's a huge like community of younger people that work at the call centers here. So I feel like I'm living at like a university campus, to be honest, and it makes my YouTube content easier to make. I just approach people on the street and ask them random questions.
Right. And you actually do. And then what part of Canada did you say you were from, or did you?
I didn't say which part, but I'm from Toronto.
Toronto. Okay. I've been to Hamilton. So the
Oh,
Hamilton
pretty
Tiger
close.
Cats, used to go
Nice.
there and see the games and spend some time out there with some friends and everything. Um, Also, all right. So, what would you say are your best qualities or your weaknesses? Maybe as a
On a
vlogger or a
date?
person.
Okay, so all right. As a person, I think I'm well traveled, and that really does help me, I think, engage with people. So for me, I never I don't care about anybody's background or anything. Every single discussion I have with people is unique to me because I'm genuinely interested in getting to know people. And
Right.
that's, I think, my best quality because I don't judge anybody, whether it's financial status, social status in life, physical appearance. Like my biggest adventures have been just talking to random people. For example, in the basketball video, what you guys didn't see was the men that were there invited me to a birthday party right after. They offered me beers, we had cake, and I met the police chief of the barangay. It was a really interesting story, and I didn't want to like personalize that, but like, so that's my biggest quality. I'm open to meeting all kinds of people. And I think my weakness would be maybe I speak too fast sometimes, I'll be honest.
Oh, I
So,
thought you would say the ladies. So
oh, yeah,
I know you're a very handsome vlogger, so I'm sure a
oh,
lot of the
thank you, thank
lady attention comes. So, I got to hide George. Will you
you. You,
stop?
George,
I had to
you
put a
guys are
wig on
both
you
great
and put it
looking
out
people.
there. So I figured the ladies were your weaknesses. All right. And again, we do notice that you do interact a lot with people. You do a really, really good job at that. What would you say are your likes about the Philippines and your dislikes about the Philippines currently versus when you first arrived?
Oh, for sure. That's a great question. And I thought of that the other day. So my biggest likes haven't changed, I'll be honest. The Filipino
Right.
people. For sure. And I know this is maybe cliche by now if you watch many vloggers, but the Filipino people are some of the kindest, gentle, warm-hearted people I've ever come across. They naturally, like, they don't want anything from you. I feel so like any interaction I have is genuine. It's not for any
Right.
purpose. They don't have this agenda of any kind. People are just super friendly. And as a human being, I can appreciate that when I feel valued and like, I feel like I exist here, which is really good because in Canada and Toronto, I was always like, go, go, go. Everything on the
Right. It
schedule.
was like a
If you get
rat
to,
race in Canada and the United States. So people here are more like on island time. And to
yeah.
me, I was saying with the kids outside playing that it's like being the 80s. We always mention that on the
Mhm.
channel that, the more that I've been here like 14 months now, that it more reminds me of being like in the 80s. So safety, like you could even leave your door open in most places. So then, there's
Yeah.
always safety issues in some place. And your dislikes.
Yeah. So my dislikes, that haven't really changed, changed a little bit. I'd say the food, I initially I couldn't get accustomed to. For some reason, my palate was different. The type of foods, Filipino food I was eating, for some reason I couldn't appreciate it as much as I do now. Now
Right,
I'm all about the Filipino food. To be honest, like because I've gone to small kitchens and like little restaurants, little mom and pop places, because I
right.
randomly just go into these places. I don't Google it. I don't do anything. And sometimes I come across the most delicious food, and I'll be honest, I don't know the names of them. And like different types of like chicken, especially adobo. I like the vinegar they use in many of the dishes. So yeah, I love the Filipino food now, which
You've been to Angeles City and Pampanga, correct?
I haven't. No, I haven't been to those places.
They do have, compared to some of the areas that I've been to, other places. I like the food here, but I have to get used to more of the sweet food. Everything seems to be super sweet, and
Correct.
I don't know, but and then of course you have the weird food. Like here they have the bugs and the worms, the
Mhm.
mealworms, and at that
Yeah.
restaurant where they had the mealworms and the frog legs that we went to.
Yeah.
Yes, and I still can't eat balut. Have you eaten balut yet?
That's one
Duck
thing I'm
egg?
gonna try to build up the courage to do so. Coming from the West, we don't get exposed to certain delicacies, I'd say. It's not so many
Oh,
places where we can go and try these things. So for me, just not being accustomed to it, I'm just still a little bit fearful of eating a embryo. So
Yeah.
maybe soon.
yeah. No, here in Angel City, I don't know if you've heard of it. There's something they have here, which now that I think about it, I haven't seen it in any other vloggers. We have something called a 1,000-year-old chick. Have you heard of that?
I have not, but she sounds wonderful. What is
Oh,
this
what
chick
is
all
that?
about?
It's a it's like it looks like a cross between an egg and a chick. You can see the legs sticking out.
Oh yeah, I'll pass.
So it's like deep. It looks like the best way to explain it, it looks like a deep fried. No, it looks like a deep fried hard boiled eggs with legs sticking out like chicken legs.
Yeah, no, they
It's
they have a lot
Wow.
of specialties here in this
yes, it's very
area.
different here. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Okay,
Go ahead and ask
interesting.
them the next question. And what about the heat? Is that your pros or cons?
Definitely. I mean, that's a really tough one to answer. Coming from Canada, the heat is much appreciated. I mean, I love the warm weather.
And I thought about that because we thought about going to Ohio, and that's where I'm from. And I'm like, with my lupus and bones, I just can't handle the cold. In Mexico, in the mountains, we almost froze. And so
Wow.
Mexico makes us appreciate being here along with the food, because everything to me in Mexico, everything was spicy. I mean, everything was super spicy and
One
bland. It was
extreme
like
to the other.
bland but spicy. And so that was their
Yeah.
only flavoring. And so I was really glad to actually get here. So
That's great.
So what kind of careers have you had?
Yeah, growing up, I've been independent since I was in grade 9. In high school, I got my own place. I moved out of my home. I worked in the restaurant industry, so I worked my way up from like a server to a bartender to a kitchen supervisor. Eventually, I was managing a casino at 26 years old. I was managing like a government casino. And then afterwards, I worked in the film industry. I worked for like a subsidiary of Netflix. So I was meeting different kinds of people, handling TV shows and movies and things like that. So it was fun, but I still wanted to travel. That was my passion. So I look for ways to go ahead and leave that, 9 to 5 rat race behind me. And I've been traveling full time for the past like 3 years almost. So
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So you've
thank
done
you.
a
No, it's a
lot
lot
of
of fun.
Wow,
things.
been around and
Mhm. And then, of
For
course,
sure.
you're YouTubing, and I heard you said you rent out like a house that you have, and so you have the extra income, because a lot of people wonder, and we always wonder how the younger generation, like we have like savings and disability, and then the
Yeah.
YouTube we make a few hundred a month, so we do okay on that. But when we see younger people such as you said you were 35.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so and then you do investments, or do you?
So I was dabbling a little bit into the new, obviously digital age of cryptocurrency, but it wasn't really for me. I'm not one of those people that's really. I love math and numbers and all that, but I couldn't invest my time to research every single coin and try to day trade or whatever. But mainly, it's like you said, my home in Canada. I'm renting out my house. There's a little bit of leftover money after taxes, insurance and mortgage and all that. But right now, mainly I'm supporting myself through income from YouTube because the views are really high. So the money is
Right.
decent now, as well as I did teach English online for a little bit. So I
Which
oh
was
is
working.
okay.
really great.
It's really great, especially when you're a Canadian passport holder. You can get jobs that are paying you over 20 US dollars an hour, maybe 30 US dollars an hour, which is great if you're living in Asia, right? So I did some of those things, and eventually now I'm to a point where I'm trying to wean myself away from everything except for maybe just YouTube revenue.
I'm gonna have George ask some questions. Go on, Oprah.
Yeah, put in the work, George.
Yeah, George.
Oh,
Always quiet. Believe me, he's not quiet. When we're off of our lives and people just see George sitting there and they're like, "Oh, just let him talk" and stuff. I was like, "Oh, he does. He talks and talks and talks," but he goes through his shy bits, kind of like Filipinos. Like you'll get some that are real super quiet, and
Yeah.
then what's the next question there, Oprah?
well, actually, this is somewhat personal, but of course, you can answer in your own accord.
You can ask him about the
Sure.
pantyhose thing.
Pantyhose. We all have our pantyhose stories.
All right, move on.
He was really handsome though. But anyway, um, no.
All right, George, you're gonna.
Feel free to ask anything, guys. I'm not very like, it's not supposed to be a serious thing. I don't think so. Be free. Ask.
Aw, thank you so much.
Apples,
Um,
oranges.
right. What is your most challenging time in your life?
Like what came up in your life that seemed to be challenging and how maybe you overcame it?
That's a great question. I'll generalize this a little bit because growing up, like I mentioned earlier, I was very independent. So a lot of the challenges that most people face these days didn't really bother me. But recently, the most challenging thing has been for me saying goodbyes to people. So when you meet people, you get to know them, you become really good friends, lifelong friendships, romantic relationships, or anyone you meet. And it's really
Right.
hard to say bye to people that you will never maybe see again. And you don't know because like when you travel so often, you build these connections, and it's really sad to say goodbye, to be honest. So that's been really challenging for me to try to handle and be open about if I meet, because I'm still single guy, and if I meet a woman, I don't know if I'm quite ready to settle down. So we have this understanding, let's say, oh, this and that. And then next thing you know, after 3 months or 4 months, that, people catch feelings, right? So it becomes challenging in that way.
Which makes sense. Both me and George are super sensitive. We're both Cancerians and both have the same feelings all the time. So same thing when we meet people and have to say goodbye, like all of our family and people in Mexico, which is going to bring me around to two questions. What is your status? Have you been married before? Any kids?
No,
Or
never married, no kids. I am a single. That's my status.
so I said, my man.
My man, right?
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
actually. And what did your family think about you moving to the Philippines? What was there? I mean, I know you've gone to other places, but they know that you're actually, what did they think about like you being in Thailand and being here? And what do they think of you further
Sure.
being here?
They are very supportive. They know, and they give me a lot of freedom to operate. I have a small family anyways. I have no siblings or anything. So my parents are in Europe anyway. So for me, it wasn't a big decision. So the thing is just my friends, and even then, I would see my friends once every month or two because they got careers, they got their own families, right? So it wasn't much of a stretch for me to travel because it wasn't too many close people in my life at the time.
Yeah. Um, do we want to get into the music and
Get
movie
into
things?
it.
What
Get
what
into
type what type of music do you actually listen to, and what's your favorite movie of all times?
So you guys are gonna be maybe surprised. So it's funny. I grew up in a really like ghetto neighborhood. I'm gonna say a really urban.
Yeah, I'm from
you know,
Columbus, I know.
So everything I grew up was rap and hip hop and dancehall and
All
like
right, so
a
Dr.
lot of
Dre, Snoop,
yeah,
all that.
Dre, Snoop, Busta Rhymes, Pac and Biggie
That's
and everybody,
right.
Maz, everybody. So
Julio.
then as I grew older and I started traveling a bit more, going to like, nightclubs and bars, I started picking up this like EDM,
Right,
electronic
when I
dance.
got to Germany and the clubs and stuff. So I'm half French and half German, but born in the US. So I've been to both countries, and there's a lot of funky underground clubs in Germany. So that's all I
I
could
can
say is you could
imagine.
spend 2, 3 days there and never actually leave. So
Yeah. So yeah, now
anyways.
I'm a little bit more into that. So
And then what about a movie that you could watch over and over again? Like ours is like The Color Purple, and movies like that you
okay.
watch over and over again.
Trying to think. I'm personally, I hate dramas. So any movie that I don't want to feel sad when I watch a movie, right? So comedies is a big thing for me. And this is gonna be weird, but if you guys ever watch Saturday Night Live,
Yeah, we like SNL fans,
Yes.
yes.
but A Night at the Roxbury is one of my favorite movies, I
Oh
think.
crap, that's my kids.
Yeah,
I was
I can't
previously
stop
married and my
watching.
kids would walk around. So I've got kids almost your age. So I've got a 34-year-old and a 33-year-old. They're only a year
You
apart.
don't look like you would have kids that old, to be honest.
Oh, George does too. He has kids that are 31.
What? You guys look
Yeah.
in your 30s yourselves.
Yeah, so we retired pretty easy. If you were going to start a business, what would you start here in the Philippines?
Yeah, so for me, I see business opportunities every corner I turn here in the Philippines, to be
Makes sense.
honest. I don't want to work, but if I had to work as far as that kind of work, but there for me it'll be like consulting business. So I have a couple ideas
Okay.
because I can kind of connect the West and the East together because I've traveled for both. So one area I find a lot of opportunity is in like a dating service.
Yeah.
So I would do the vetting, I'll do the process of meeting the women, for example, and trying to find the right person for someone that's interested in the West. Because imagine being maybe about to retire or you want to find someone new, but you're not physically on the ground here. So if I can have some sort of
Right, you could
connection,
be literally the eyes and boots on the ground for the people. And yeah, we've seen they had a few of those here in Angel City where they go as far as, they have girls they vetted and then they bring the guys in and they have other soirees at the Hilton and they do things like that. But yeah, if you could get further in there, that's something that we've heard people actually talk about.
yeah, I feel like it'll be a really lucrative and at least fun and exciting way to even meet people for the channel, the YouTube. I got this small platform now where I can actually, bring them on these live streams. Say, hey, this is so and so. So if you guys, there's a lot of opportunity comes to that, right? And it's good because at least you know where your heart is and your intentions are, and you can like at least I don't know. I feel like you can do a lot better job of like providing some information that people cannot get just virtually online with somebody.
It's
And
an
also real
action.
estate business where we can help people find proper condos and condominiums. Because here in the Philippines, I find that if you want to look for a home and you want, let's say you want a 1 bedroom with air conditioning and a pool, and you
Mhm.
see 3 or 4 different listings, you're talking to 3 or 4 different people. It shouldn't be that way. And the communication, no offense to the Filipinos, isn't
Oh,
always the
he's talking about the
best.
multiple real estate
So
agents.
yeah, that doesn't make sense
Yeah,
to me. It should
yeah.
be like a core,
Mhm.
one unit
We
or like one
we
business.
we were personally wondering because we would see that like on Airbnb, we would see the same building, same apartment, same everything. And that's when we learned that that's what they're doing. There's 4 agents trying to actually rent it out on Airbnb. The first one that rents it out, it's kind of
Yeah,
strange, and the same with the actual rentals. And then we'll round this up by asking your future plans and to do a shout out again for your channel.
definitely. Thank you guys. For me personally, I've always planned to see as much of the world as possible. So when I came to the Philippines, the goal was to be here for 1 month maximum. So now I'm pushing 6 months. So at some point, I would have to consider moving on and trying a new country. I would have to go back to Canada and see some family, handle some business and stuff like that. But for me, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, travel to new countries, experience new cultures, try new foods, see different places because I feel I'm blessed and privileged to be in this position. Many people cannot be doing what I'm doing. So why not take advantage of my opportunity and see as much of this world as I can?
Yes. And then you have your YouTube channel, Living Abroad. Do you have a Facebook the same? And we've seen your Instagram.
Yeah, I'm not a really social like guy. It's weird, right? It's a very, I don't know, it's kind of awkward. But like Facebook isn't a thing in Canada anymore. People my age, I mean, usually don't use Facebook that much anymore. Same with Instagram. I only started Instagram because people kept saying, "Hey, do you have Insta? Do you have Insta?" I'm like, okay, fine, let's start one. So yeah, my Instagram is Canada to Abroad. And Facebook, I don't even know my name on Facebook, to be honest.
Yeah, you're awesome.
My pleasure. Thank you guys
And-
so much. And send me the link. I'll share this with my community so all my
We sure
subscribers
will.
can
And
see it.
feel free to answer questions. Feel free to come on in and into the comment section and make your comments to people so they can see your channel.
Sure,
And it's,
definitely.
we do appreciate you being here and keep up the good work. We've been
Oh.
watching you since you,
Well, one last question.
uh-oh.
Okay. And this is from a Filipino.
Oh, here it comes. You can't
Okay.
ask him for a date.
Oh man, no.
George is gonna ask you out.
No.
What are you, I can't say it.
Okay. What I'm saying is I see you, and most people don't realize this. You go out there and put yourself out.
Mhm.
My question is, what makes you quote unquote fearless in going out and talking
Yeah,
to
That's a
strangers?
good question because you have a lot of people, because even George, he's Filipino and from this town, it's hard for him. And when I get out there, I'm 6 foot, I'm big, tall, I'm bigger than life, and I'm a big, fluffy American woman. They see me a mile away. So when I get my DJI out, I'm kind of like this. And
Yeah.
so we get like this shyness. And I worked in the television business. I've been around a lot of big celebrities. I've been out with them, but till now it seems totally different for me. So how do you go about all that?
So for me, it's very easy. First of all, it's like I'm trying to word this properly. Okay, for example, I think I'm a really, really good reader of people. So when I walk on the street and somebody doesn't make eye contact with me, I don't disturb them. I don't walk behind people or like try to catch them, or I don't try to disturb them in any way. So if somebody's eating, I don't approach them or something like that. Or if
Right.
somebody's reading or they have the headphones in, I don't like take them out of their norm. But if someone's
He's
walking towards me,
respectful.
yeah, and if they're looking at me, or if they keep eye contact, or they smile, sometimes they wave because they see maybe I have a camera or something, right? And if there's that small moment of eye contact, then I kind of smile and then I approach them in that way. And I ask them politely if they would like to answer a question for my YouTube video. And you'll be surprised how many people would say yes, because how I choose the people I actually want to interview. Sometimes I get rejected, but they're so nice about it. I don't take it personally. Not everybody wants to be on camera, so I get it, right? So but that's what my approach is. Just be friendly, kind. And of course, I always ask the permission afterwards if they're okay with the video, if I could post it. And that's it.
We do wish you
Yeah.
well on your channel. We do appreciate you joining.
Thank you so much.
We
Yeah,
thank
my
you so
pleasure.
much
appreciate
for
it.
For having me,
joining, and
guys.
we'll catch you on a live and everything. And we do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Definitely. My pleasure, guys. I look forward to that.
Thank you.
No request for sacrificial chickens or goats or anything like that.
Nothing like that.
All right.
All right, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Enjoy
Thank
the
you
rest
so
of your day.
much.
My pleasure.
I don't know how to-
Bye, guys.
Okay. He's asking the address, I think. I think he's actually here. Okay. I'll close this off and go on out. Why you gotta take your coffee at the same time, weirdo?
I would stop it and then send it over. You've done it before.
Oh no, anxiety creeps up on me. Is this how it's supposed to feel? Tell me when it's over, I got someplace that I gotta be.